What if the food you proudly serve your family is quietly putting them at risk every time you shop at Aldi? Every salad bag, every loaf of bread, every bottle of milk that feels like a smart, budget-friendly choice could be part of a system built on recalls, contamination, and industrial ingredients that would shock you if you saw the full picture. This is not just about one bad product here and there, it is about a pattern that turns your weekly shop into a gamble you never agreed to. Aldi has built its entire reputation on one simple promise: quality for less. German efficiency applied to your food shop. The clever option for families who want to save money without sacrificing standards. And for years, that story worked. Trolleys filled up with their private label products, while most people assumed low prices meant smarter sourcing, not lower safety. But that quiet trust has been eroded by shortcuts you were never told about. Those impossibly low prices come from compromises in processing, corners cut on quality control, and ingredients so cheap and industrial that calling them food starts to feel generous. Once you see what really sits behind some of these everyday items, you will never look at those aisles in the same way again. Because sometimes, the real price of saving money does not show up on your receipt. It shows up in your body and in your family's health. Number 1. Aldi Fresh Produce, specifically their pre-washed salad bags. The items millions of families grab, thinking they are making the healthy choice, the convenient option, the fresh greens you toss into lunchboxes and dinner bowls without a second thought. The bags promise convenience, freshness, and health, all wrapped up in recyclable packaging with images of pristine farms and happy families. But here is what most shoppers do not know. Aldi's budget salad bags have been linked to recurring contamination issues: E. coli, listeria, salmonella, pathogens that can cause serious illness, especially in children, pregnant women, and vulnerable adults. And it is not isolated incidents. The Food Standards Agency has issued multiple warnings about pre-washed salad products from budget suppliers over the years. Warnings that most people never see because they come and go in quiet press releases, not front-page headlines. Because when profit margins are razor-thin, something has to give. And in the case of pre-washed greens, what gives is the washing process itself, the thoroughness of quality control, the multiple rinse cycles that proper food safety requires. The trained staff monitors every stage of production. Budget retailers source from suppliers who cut corners on sanitation protocols because those protocols cost money. Money that does not exist when you are selling salad for less than £1. Think about what proper salad washing requires. Multiple stages of cleaning, testing for bacterial contamination, temperature-controlled storage, trained workers following strict hygiene procedures. All of that costs money. All of that takes time. And when you are competing on price alone, when your entire business model depends on being the cheapest option on the shelf, those expenses become impossible to justify. This is not fresh. This is fresh packaging wrapped around the corner cutting that puts families at risk. And the worst part? You cannot see contamination. You cannot smell it. You cannot taste it until it is too late. You trust that pre-washed means safe. You trust that sealed packaging means sterile. You trust that a major retailer would not sell you something dangerous. But at Aldi's price point, that trust is misplaced, because the economics simply do not work. You cannot wash, test, and package salad properly at that price while maintaining any kind of profit margin. So if the produce section, supposedly the healthiest part of the store, already contains hidden dangers, what happens when we move to the packaged goods? Number 2. Aldi Everyday Essentials. White bread, the loaf millions grab every week without reading the label. The budget staple is sitting in trolleys across the country. The bread families rely on for toast, sandwiches, and packed lunches. The product that appears on kitchen counters in homes from Cornwall to Scotland, feeding children before school and workers before their shifts. Take one look at the ingredient list and suddenly it becomes painfully clear why this costs so little. Wheat flour, water, yeast, vegetable oils including rapeseed and palm, sugar, salt, emulsifiers E471 and E472, flour treatment agent, ascorbic acid, preservatives. And that is just what they are required to list. There are sub-ingredients within those categories that never make it onto the label because current regulations do not require that level of disclosure. Bread used to be 4 ingredients: flour, water, yeast, salt. That is it. For thousands of years, those 4 ingredients were enough to feed entire nations. From ancient Egypt to medieval Britain, From Roman bakeries to Victorian households, bread was simple. It was honest. It was real. But Aldi's version, 15 ingredients and counting, a chemistry set masquerading as bread, a laboratory experiment pretending to be traditional food. And here is what people do not understand. Budget pricing does not mean simpler formulations. It means cheaper industrial inputs. Use seed oils instead of butter because seed oils cost pennies per litre when purchased in massive quantities from industrial suppliers. Palm oil for texture because it is one of the cheapest fats on earth, sourced from plantations that have devastated rainforests and displaced entire ecosystems. Emulsifiers to fake softness because real softness comes from quality ingredients and proper fermentation time, both of which cost money. Preservatives to keep it artificially fresh for days longer than any real bread would stay edible, because distribution networks require products that can survive warehouses, lorries, and shelves without changing. Because real bread goes stale. Real bread changes. Real bread develops a crust. Real bread firms up within a day or two because it is made from ingredients that are alive, that continue changing after baking. This loaf stays soft for a week, sometimes longer, because it is held together with additives your body was never designed to process daily. Additives that slow down natural processes. Additives that prevent mold not because the bread is fresh, but because the environment inside that plastic bag has been engineered to be hostile to all life, including the beneficial microorganisms your gut needs. This is not bread. This is engineered dough held in the shape of bread with chemicals. It is a food-like product designed to meet the minimum legal definition of bread while maximizing shelf life and minimizing cost. And that is the great deception of modern budget retail. They keep the familiar names. They keep the familiar shapes. They keep the familiar packaging. But the product inside has been fundamentally transformed into something our great-grandparents would not recognize as food. But at least bread is expected to be processed these days. Surely the dairy section, the milk and eggs, must be straightforward and natural, right? Number 3. Aldi Cowbell British Whole Milk. The white bottle in so many family fridges. The carton that feels safe, familiar, wholesome. The milk poured into tea, over cereal, into children's cups, every single day. But the label does not tell you the full story. To hit those low prices and long shelf lives, milk from multiple farms is mixed, heavily processed, and pushed beyond gentle pasteurization into ultra-pasteurization. Instead of a brief, controlled heat to kill harmful bacteria, the liquid is blasted to extremely high temperatures that warp protein structures and wipe out delicate enzymes your body would normally recognize and use. Then comes ultra-homogenization. The cream line that older generations remember is gone, not because cows changed, but because the fat is smashed into tiny particles and forced into permanent suspension. The texture becomes uniform, smooth, and strangely consistent, bottle after bottle. Convenient for the retailer, but far removed from what naturally comes from the animal. When milk is this cheap, it is usually coming from large-scale, low-cost operations. Cows are kept indoors in crowded sheds, feed chosen for price before quality, a system where volume and efficiency win, not animal welfare or nutrient density. This is not simply milk. It is a white industrial liquid, optimized for logistics and profit, not for health. On paper, it meets the legal definition. In reality, it barely resembles what people drank for generations. Milk should be one ingredient. Instead, you are dealing with a product reshaped by heat, pressure, and blending until it behaves more like a manufactured beverage than a simple farm staple. And if the dairy aisle is already this compromised, you can imagine what happens when you move across to the meat section. Number 4. Aldi Ashfield's Farm Chicken Breasts. A reliable protein that many families depend on for quick dinners. The pack looks clean, simple, and honest in the fridge. Look closer and the story changes. Budget chicken is rarely just chicken. It is often meat injected with salty water and additives to bulk up the weight and keep it looking plump. Industry rules allow a significant share of that pack to be added liquid, meaning you are paying full price for something that is not really protein. Then there is how the birds are raised. Chicken this cheap almost always comes from high-density factory farms, where tens of thousands of birds live indoors under artificial light, pushed to grow at unnatural speeds. Feed is focused on rapid weight gain, not quality. Antibiotics and other inputs become tools to manage disease risk in cramped conditions, not rare emergency measures. The packaging paints a different picture. Fields, sunshine, rustic fonts, the illusion of a small traditional farm. The reality is a mechanized system designed to convert cheap grain into cheap meat as fast as possible. So that tray of breasts in your trolley is not just chicken. It is a mixture of water, industrial farming, and marketing, sold at a price that only makes sense if corners are cut all along the line. And if this is what happens with fresh meat, the risks climb even higher once you step into the world of fully prepared factory meals. Number 5. Aldi ready meals and prepared foods. The lifesavers for rushed evenings, late shifts, and tired parents. The option that promises hot food in minutes, without effort or planning. Behind that convenience, the margin for error gets dangerously small. When a company has to produce vast quantities of complex meals at ultra-low prices, every second and every penny counts. That pressure sits right on top of safety systems and quality checks. There have already been recalls where customers reported finding metal fragments in ready meals, leading to official warnings and products pulled from shelves. Those meals were not just on pallets in warehouses, they were already in home freezers and fridges, already being served to children, elderly relatives, and exhausted workers. One small failure in a production line became a sharp, invisible threat sitting on dinner plates. And those headline incidents are just the ones that get public attention. Behind them sit all the near misses, mislabeled allergens, and contamination risks that come with pushing huge volumes at the lowest possible cost. When you try to make complicated food incredibly cheap, the first thing that suffers is the time and care needed to keep it consistently safe. Parents heat these trays, believing they are choosing the practical, reliable option. In reality, they might be trusting their family's safety to a system that cannot afford the level of caution that should be standard. If ready meals can let metal, plastic, or other foreign materials slip through, imagine what is hiding in the snack aisle, where the focus is even more on flavor tricks, chemical stability, and cost cutting than on anything resembling real cooking. Number 6. Aldi Snack-Right Biscuits. Any variety. Pick any flavor, any style, any packet that costs less than £1. The biscuits seem like harmless little treats. The snacks parents put in lunchboxes, thinking they are just giving their kids something sweet to enjoy. Look at the ingredient list. There are more than 20 separate items. Wheat flour, vegetable oils including palm and rapeseed, glucose, fructose syrup, sugar, raising agents, emulsifiers, stabilizers, flavorings, colors, preservatives, acidity regulators, and ingredients you need a chemistry degree to pronounce. This is not a biscuit. This is an edible product shaped like a biscuit. It is an industrial creation that barely resembles what people have baked at home for generations. Customer reviews tell you what the packaging does not. People mention artificial taste, chemical aftertaste, waxy texture, and strange mouthfeel. Some say they would not serve them to guests. One parent says even their children, who usually devour anything sweet, refuse to finish them. Another says their dog, who normally begs for human food, turned away. When even children and pets instinctively reject something, that might be your body's ancient warning system kicking in. Your instincts recognize that what you are eating is not real food, no matter how much it looks like it. This is what they want us to accept as normal. More than 20 ingredients to make something our great-grandparents managed, with 5. Flour, butter, sugar, eggs, maybe a bit of vanilla. That is a biscuit. That is food. What Aldi is selling is palm oil from rainforest plantations, corn syrup from industrial monoculture, synthetic emulsifiers and flavors designed to trick your senses into thinking you are eating something comforting and familiar. These are not one-off mistakes. They are signals of something bigger. Number 7. Aldi's entire business model. Because these are not random failures, they are features of the system. This is what happens when discount retail is pushed to its extreme. The uncomfortable truth is simple. This is not going to get better on its own. It is designed to keep getting worse. Discount retail is a race to the bottom. Every year, margins get thinner. Every year, suppliers are squeezed harder. Every year, new shortcuts are needed just to keep prices at the level customers now expect. Quality is not accidentally falling. It is being traded away, piece by piece, to protect the promise of the cheapest possible shop. When Aldi looks for suppliers, it is not choosing based on tradition, flavor, or nutrition. It is chosen based on cost. The contract goes to whoever can do it for the lowest price. Then, when that supplier needs to shave off a few more pennies to keep the deal next year, something has to give. Safety checks get streamlined, ingredient quality is quietly downgraded, the quality control staff are reduced, production lines move faster and faster. The private label system makes this even more dangerous. Everything sits under the Aldi name. You do not see which factory made your chicken last month, or which one makes it now. You do not see when recipes change. You do not see when ingredients are quietly swapped for cheaper alternatives. Suppliers can change overnight, and you would never know. There is no real transparency, no easy accountability, just a wall of branding. As Aldi has grown, this problem has multiplied. More stores, more products, more suppliers. But the basic oversight systems have not magically kept up. More volume moves through the same thin layer of checks. That means more opportunities for contamination, more chances for corners to be cut, and more risks slipping through the gaps. Meanwhile, consumer standards have been lowered one small step at a time. Bread that stays soft for a week feels normal. Biscuits with ingredient lists longer than recipes barely raise an eyebrow. Pre-washed salad with a faint chemical tang seems fine. A whole generation has grown up with this as their baseline. But you still have a choice. You do not need to boycott Aldi entirely. You do not need to live a perfect, zero-processed life. That is not realistic. But you do need to be strategic. You need to decide where you are willing to accept industrial shortcuts and where you are not. Skip the prepared meals. The risk is not worth the convenience. Skip the pre-washed salad bags and buy whole leaves you can wash at home. Skip the ultra-processed snacks with ingredient lists that read like science projects. Stick to basic staples where processing has less room to hide. Dry pasta, rice, simple tinned tomatoes, plain oats. When it comes to fresh produce, meat, and dairy, consider paying more to buy less, but better. A smaller amount of decent meat from a local butcher is worth more than a full tray of water-injected chicken fillets. Milk from a local dairy or a trusted supplier may cost more than the rock-bottom supermarket bottle, but you are paying for quality, not just liquid volume. Think of it this way: you can pay a bit more now for food that actually nourishes you, or you can pay later through medical bills, medication, fatigue, and long-term health problems quietly fueled by a poor diet. Either way, you pay. Only one path gives something back in return. Teach your children what real food looks like. Show them how proper bread goes stale and needs to be eaten or turned into toast or breadcrumbs, instead of staying suspiciously soft for a full week. Show them milk with an actual cream line. Show them chicken that has texture and flavour instead of watery blandness. That knowledge is a kind of protection. Even changing just one category of your weekly shop creates pressure. If enough people stop buying certain products, retailers notice, they reformulate, they improve standards, they admit quietly, through new labels and new ranges, that customers will no longer accept the old shortcuts. Right now, much of what fills supermarket trolleys is not food in the traditional sense our grandparents would recognise. It is industrially imitation, shaped, coloured, and flavoured to look familiar enough that we do not ask too many questions. Staying aware is your best defence. Reading labels, instead of trusting branding, asking where something came from, instead of just how cheap it is. Protecting your family by refusing to accept that the lowest possible price always equals the smartest choice. The moment enough people say no to these imitations, the system has to change. The race to the bottom only works as long as everybody keeps running in the same direction. The power has always been yours. Use it. For more clarity, guidance, and updates, subscribe now.